My name is Rhapsody, his name is sneakyteak, and welcome back to the Ladder Streak for another week. How's it going, my friend?
I'm feeling very alive.
You managed to finally digest all of the kilojoules of the eggnog into monster train energy. I was gonna say slay the spire energy, like slaying spire energy, but like monster training energy. Okay, I guess yeah, we're gonna be
It's video game energy of some kind. I have turned something on the order of 10,000 calories of Thanksgiving beverage into pure video game strategy at this point. But it was a heavy process.
Oh yeah, it's very, very powerful fuel, but you can't use it for the entire period of time. It's like you can't run a car on NOS.
No, it's gold nitro, exactly. You know, you gotta know. You can hit it once, maybe twice, but if you hit it 3 times, well, nobody's ever made it out.
Exactly. There's a 50-50 you're not coming back from that one. And what I mean is 50% chance you're not coming back, and the other 50% chance you're also not coming back. So we've got Covenant rank 8 up here on the screen. Stygian Guard with the Exiled Champion, Solgard the Martyr, and the Foregone Powers as the additional cards. And we got the Allied Clan randomized. Do you have a favorite pair with a Stygian Guard?
With Solgard, I do think that the Allied I think that the Standard versus Exiled faction lead makes a huge difference for the factions.
Yes, with Solgard specifically.
I don't know. This is, to be honest, I spent quite a lot of time playing with the Exiles when they first came out, and then took a couple weeks off and played a bunch more. Have been very, very consistent with them, but this one is still kind of a question mark for me. I was able to succeed with this faction leader very consistently, but I feel like her different forms are so different that it's in a way that is, and this is one of the things that I think that Shiny Shoe was trying to emphasize with the new faction leads. Actually, I think that was one thing they wanted to do with the exiled faction leads, was make their different forms feel very different, you know? And that is definitely true for this particular leader. You can either go with a crazy giant brawler a la, Penumbra, or you can do really tight, like, kind of support unit, one of the most wild frost scaling units in the game. So wild, in fact, that they nerfed it several times, right?
Yeah.
It's just a lot of very different leaders, and so it's kind of hard for me to conceptualize what my favorite matchups are. But I think Stygian in general benefits from a cooperative faction who can help improve their durability. So something like Hellhorn or Umbra tend to be very, very good partners for Stygian in my finding.
So I would pitch that I totally agree in terms of Hellhorn and Umbra, and very specifically for those reasons as well. I find myself a lot of times with a Soul Guard specifically, and pairing against an Umbra, I end up just with a bunch of, oh god, I forgot the name of the card. 4 Lifesteal and 2 Ember Drain.
4 Lifesteal, oh, that's Immortal Trade.
Yes.
Such a good card.
It's extremely good. I overlooked it for way, way too long. But I find myself oftentimes with just one giant frontliner that has Immortal Trade just being the protection unit for the rest of the deck. And it can support that so well. Obviously, Hellhorn. One of the biggest things about the Hellhorn Stygian Guard combo to me that I really, really like is the ability to abuse Railhammer.
Yeah. With Incant.
Yeah, Incant.
That gets pretty wild.
Incant give 1 armor to all enemies on this, allies on this floor. Well, how about I do 6 instead? Sorry, 5 instead.
That would be cool if we just 5x that effect, right? That's probably going to work out in a way that feels very balanced to the player.
I will say, the one thing that I think is a large unifying factor between all Soul Guards is all of them want you to focus on your Incant. Right?
True.
The Titan channel wants you to get that Incant off as quickly as possible so that it is part of your actual destruction technique for the enemies, but also to protect the units behind it, because it's usually like a frontliner. Obviously, the other two need to have the buffs so that they can actually do any amount of damage. And a lot of the time, a Soul Guard run is based around Soul Guard and supporting Soul Guard.
Yep.
So I will say that the thing that, at risk of inflaming the comment section a little bit, the thing that Stygian Guard, Soul Guard wants to do most consistently is draw.
No, but I think that is, I don't think there's much debate there. Look at your starting deck.
Yes.
You've got 5 foregone powers. This is a 0-cost discard effect. You want to draw cards. I don't think that that's so much Soul Guard as it is foregone power and Stygian decks in general. If there is one faction in which I probably take draw more than all the others, it's Stygian.
Yes. Yeah, I would tend to agree similarly on my own part. Stygian is also kind of like my baby, so I end up having a lot of runs similar to that. I will say, though...
Tethys was my first love. Tethys was my favorite prior to the alternate faction leads. Tethys was my favorite, so I quite like Stygian as well. Yeah.
I think
But
Tethys
then Lil
might have been
Fade
my
came around.
second. I cannot wait to get to Lil Fade. I'm so interested
Me
to hear
neither.
everything you have to say about that, because I feel like
She's
I
great.
either make Little Fade broken or I lose, and I need to figure out where the middle is.
Look, I'm not going to tell you that I'm necessarily going to be able to solve that for you, but if you don't think Lil Fade is the coolest, then I don't know what game you're looking at.
I think additional perspectives will help me solve that.
For sure.
I will say, the reason that I bring that up, though, is because I think one of its strongest pairings is Awoken. You've got more access to draw. You've got access
particularly
to
with the root seeds.
The root seeds in the deck for your draw +1 next turn. Obviously, stings is something you're pretty much always going to want in this clan combination as well, and that's also draw +1 next turn. The Awoken Rail Spike gives you the ability to cycle through your deck really, really quickly and get off the ground, and you can use the healing as support for Dire Channel or the Cold Channel going out front. Sorry, not Dire Channel, the Titan Channel.
Yeah, that's a good point. You know, that we could make a whole podcast episode on just faction pairings. I think in many ways, if somebody said, you have a random faction, what do you want to pair it with? These days, I'd say Hellhorn or Umbra. They're some of the most linear faction pairings, but back in the beta, it would have been Awoken. Like, Awoken was the pairing class.
Yeah.
I thought, for a long time.
Awoken had the ability to support you in a way, because, like, when we're talking about back in beta, are you talking about, like, pre-Umbra?
Or, I mean, I guess just post-release.
Right.
But still with some of the beta thinking, I think, right?
Yeah, especially as as on initial release, Ember Drain was kind of like not necessarily being utilized broadly by the community. It was definitely being utilized by the people who are very good at the game. But before that period of time, it felt like survivability really had to come from the Awoken.
Yeah. And then Melting Remnant is a better partner than people think. It's just hard. This is a sweet start, by the way. I'm quite stoked.
Yeah, this is really powerful, and I wonder if it's going to force us to draft weirdly and go into like a full Ember Drain build.
Yeah. I just am happy to see 2 Titans Gratitudes. I mean, that's
a lot.
the
One you were looking at. All right.
I also saw Perils of Production, and I am excited about it. Don't get me wrong, but 2 Titans Gratitudes is a huge thing for our front load.
You know what's surprisingly
and it makes the
large
better.
too? Yeah. Those plinks.
We need a lot of +10 magics, though. We're gonna have to go to a lot of shops.
Or maybe just one Mollusk Mage. Oh.
Hey, we've had this exact discussion before, I think. Maybe not. No, it was Pyrestone Housing versus Anti-Umbra Mask. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, it was. I think in this scenario, we could easily make an argument for the Mind Jacks.
Yeah, especially with morsels, right?
We're actually already in the situation where Perils of Production having 2 copies in the base deck means that energy is not really hugely a problem for us. If we take Mind Jacks and suddenly capacity isn't really a huge problem for us, we have the ability to focus on, I don't know, some third option that might exist out there.
Listen,
I do it to myself.
You made this monster. You made this bed. Oh gosh.
Guess
you
I
want to
gotta
take
lay
Mind
it?
Jacks? I'm down. I'm actually pretty excited on this Mind Jack. And I love Pyrestone too, but Mind Jacks will also be immediately useful.
Well, now we actually have a really good choice here as well. We've got the Titan Channel and Cold Channel. Honestly, Dire Channel is probably the one that I want to use least in this scenario, but with the Mind Jacks, we easily could have had a front line that has, you know, Umbra and Morsel support behind it, and then just put a Dire Channel in the back line. So honestly, pretty much anything was going to be fine here.
Yeah. With Umbra as the pair, do you think it is easier to go Cold Channel than usual because we can put more beef on it?
So Cold Channel for me has one giant glaring weakness. And that weakness is that Cold Channel itself has 15 health until after the Daedalus. Sorry, directly before that. No, after the Daedalus fight.
Yep.
And without mechanics like increase the unit's health with like Steel Enhancer or Cycle of Life or armor from Awoken, relying on things like using morsels in order to try and achieve that end, really, it can be risky. It can be very risky, I think.
Yep.
I would say that when I am in Umbra, one of the pairs I'm more happy to see in terms of Soul Guard's path pairings is Titan Channel. Having access to Furnace Tap so that your final level is 210 times 2, as well as having access to Immortal Trade, so you have a frontliner that does a giant amount of damage, and because they have a giant amount of HP, always heals back up to full after a single attack. It's extremely powerful.
When you see a number in the 200s, it makes you think of Shadow Siege, and anything that's kin with the Shadow Siege is kin with us.
Pretty much
That's
entirely.
True. I am quite certain that you can win with this Titan channel and have done so. But aren't you curious about the Cold channel?
Is it time for curiosity? I think
I kind of do. I kind of do want to learn. I kind of do. Who's our boss? Seraph the Diligent?
Yeah, we're going to be losing spells. We're also going to have the Absolvers spawn in that fight as well. So we may want a lower kind of sweep setup. I wonder if we ever end up in a situation where we have a midline that's entirely Umbra and a bottom line Cold channel that's just funding itself.
That's interesting. Or even the opposite. A bottom line, which is like a tank and a sweeper, and a midline, which is the Cold channel, so that it takes as little damage as possible and kills off bosses. Yeah.
I could see that as well. We do have an Umbra banner next to our first Merchant of Steel. Good opportunity. We've even got that again in a Space's time afterwards. The thing is, I think if we go for the Cold channel, we guaranteed have to go to this Merchant of Steel Umbra banner. We're locked out of this because we need to find a unit to actually fight our battles because we can't rely on the Soul Guard to do it. I'm more than happy to experiment on this one. We're in Covenant rank 8. I think we would easily be able to find like a central core that we can play.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm torn here just in terms of what I think will be more fun. I think that we can find a winning path for either of these, and I think that Titan Channel is the more linear one, and that's part of why I was like,
let's do it.
Let's channel some Cold. Let's channel some Cold right now. Invasion, easy peasy.
Extremely.
In this deck.
Forgot about them for a second.
Many people forget about the Plinks, but I never forget about Dre.
Good to hear. Good to hear. I worry.
Good. Good.
Oh no.
Well, that's awkward. I guess that's a bottom lane Soul Guard.
Is it?
Do you? Is it gonna die? Do we want it? I guess we could play it up top and it would barely live.
Yeah, it can kill the Titan's Gratitude. We have 5 Plinks left in the deck. That's not good.
And then we like foregone power the other two.
Yeah, because we'd go Soul Guard and then Titan's Gratitude, and then it's a 50.
Actually, you know what? We probably can get away with that. We probably can get. I think that's a play. And in fact, are we gonna? Oh, that's super unlucky. Do you want to perils it then? No, that's madness, right?
There's a little part of me that does want to perils it as a setup tech for a possible lifesteal, but that's 2 turns down the line because it has to eat.
It's killing both of these anyway because of revenge. So he's fine. Oh,
I'm sad.
We can plink that row.
Oh, yeah, we totally can. Hang on. Only 1 hit goes through the back line, but it still kills y'all.
Plink again. Yes. Okay. Never give up.
We don't need extra energy in the future, so we'll take the Morsel Jeweler.
Cool, and then just like throw some foregone power in the bot lane, I guess.
Sounds good to me.
Nice. Bot lane. Somebody was commenting to me in one of my streams recently how easily, how few hours it takes to start to use so much jargon in the games that we play. And it is just very true, but it's almost unavoidable, right? Because we're trying to describe these really complex systems. And so it's like, yeah, you do want to, use the triple Excalibur backflip when you're trying to set up the breakfast roll on lane 2. Yep. Obviously.
Look,
that's just
the
have you
triple
played?
Excalibur is the only setup that is viable in the late 2020 meta. We all know this. But you do 100% have to simplify those things down to talk about them in realistic terms. Well,
but how do you balance that to keep it from being exclusive, right? You don't want it to be a gated club. You want everyone to be able to enjoy the game. I guess that's just a core challenge.
Yeah, I think that's like of juggling back and forth between using the new terminology and then describing the way in which that terminology was come around. Some of the good StarCraft commentators back in the day used to do that very, very effectively, I found. Okay.
Of kind of taking it to 101, 201, and 301?
Yeah,
dropping
exactly.
out of the kind of jargon every now and then just to describe something. That's cool.
Especially being able to do it quickly enough to actually, like, really contribute. I really wanted that thing dead at any point. I used 4 and all of them missed. That's what, 50, 50, 50, 50, 50, 50, 50, 50, all failed.
It's very unlucky.
It's 6.25.
Which of these is actually more damage?
So this would be 21.
Right.
But we're giving more frostbite on the next floor, so it'll be amplified by that.
But I guess it's always just Titans. It's just more damage. It's interesting.
Okay.
The Titans and the Foregone Powers are having a battle. Very clearly. This Plink's gonna land though. Yeah, buddy.
Heck. Now, here's the question. Where do these go? Do they go anywhere? Are they discard fodder for the Foregone Powers?
Yeah, right. Well, we can... I mean, what's the point in having them block a hit unless... So what we do is it's worthwhile to block a hit if we've played Foregone Powers, right? So we play Foregone Power first, so that it's more likely that either Foregone or Titan's Gratitude is left. Yeah. And then now what?
I think it's now Magma and then the Foregone Power. As soon as we get the Frostbite stack above 6, it's more efficient than the Titan's Gratitude.
Yeah, that's true.
It's cool. We'll take 5 damage here.
Especially starting at 80? Absolutely. No problem.
Ooh! If everything wants to discard our cards, Teak. Maybe we should benefit while it does it.
No lie. So the question is, why is this Guardian's Amulet instead of Crypt Builder?
And the answer is it? So I agree. Guardian's Amulet, very, 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 very good. In the
Even
early game,
post-nerf.
If we make enemies 0 attack and they don't hit the Soul Guard anymore,
that's a problem.
We're missing out on stuff.
It's true. It's true. Although, how much health do we have, as we said? And there's 2 Titan's Gratitudes in the deck, so theoretically our frontline damage is decent.
That's a good point.
I think Crypt Builder is the early game decision here, for sure. And I do think that may be the reason to take it, because we've already said that our problem is getting through the first 4 rings or so until we can get some buffs on Soul Guard, right? And then it evens out a lot.
So it does.
But Guardians.
I've come around back to the other side, unfortunately, over the course of you talking about that. And in particular, one of the big reasons is because of the diversity of upgrades that we will be able to accept at a merchant, right? If we take Crypt Builder, we want +10 on that, but we want +10 on Plinks and the Titan's Gratitudes.
Oh, I'm so happy to hear this. This is something that I've talked about quite a few times, is getting a good variety of units and spells so that different enhancements are useful to you.
Yes.
That's here it is.
I think that's a really, really good call point.
You can put double stack on that, no problem. You're not going to pay for it.
Exactly. Yes, let's click the Guardian Amulet.
Cool. Fun.
I'm down.
We're clicking all sorts of stuff.
Ooh.
Do you ever click Cave In here?
You might click Cave In here. So set up a good midline floor, put it behind the bottom floor cold channel at the very end, possibly, or descend things into the middle floor to even amp up that floor. Get people to take another turn's worth of Frostbite.
Space Prism is a 0-cost spell, which is nice, and it's even more flexibility in placement. I feel like Antumbra Assault is bait here.
Yeah, again, it's another +10, right?
And like, do you believe in Plink? Because I do. I really genuinely like the card. It really wants some upgrades, and you have to love it.
Yeah, I've spoken about this before in the STS leg of the ladder streak, and that is I will always assume that the lightning is going to hit the wrong target. And if you go into playing Plink like that almost all of the time, and then obviously you're still playing it when it's like, okay, it might do something in this situation, but there's not a better play. But when you assume the worst with Plink and then play around that, Plink is very powerful.
Yep.
When you're like, there's 4 enemies on this floor and I'm gonna hit the 1 health enemy, you're gonna be disappointed constantly, and that emotional response to it is going to make you dislike the card.
That's clever. That's very true. My gut here is that I would take Cave-In just to have the tech in the deck.
Yeah. How much other access to Descend do we even have, right, in this clan combination?
Yeah,
Literally none.
Exactly. But that's also very much my playstyle, right? Like I am keen to take things that have a situational utility that I fear I may not have access to later on. I don't even know for sure that I'll care about Cave-In by floor 6, but if I do, I'll be really glad to have it.
Okay, well, I'll simplify things for you. It's not Space Prism.
Okay.
It's either Cave-In, Skip here for me. I think so you were talking specifically there about the fact that you want to include different types of tech into your deck. Now that's something I've been working on doing a little bit myself recently, but as we talked about, oftentimes I will approach these games as an engine builder, and this doesn't make sense to me right now. We have the ability to overutilize a capacity floor if we need to, and the secondary floor really shouldn't have a need for the same amount of capacity. Otherwise, we've created 2 untenably difficult to manage floors.
Yeah, that's a lot. And it's not Covenant 20, right? So we don't have any minus floor.
Want to do it?
Let's cave in. Let's cave in. I like Cave-In a lot. And it could result in if there's any card there that could result in a truly obscene end game for us, it's that one.
Now, do we still agree that we need to visit the Merchant of Steel Umbra banner at the very start? It's possible that we could try and hold off for the Merchant of Steel Umbra banner in the second area, passing up the Herzl's Horde for it.
I am pretty fond of hitting this Merchant of Magic. We have a very, very significant need for spell upgrades. And actually, I mean, you saw how well we did there, right? Floor 2 is harder than floor 1, but I think that like a couple magic upgrades will shine very significantly here in terms of being able to take out enemies. And this gives us more money to roll into a super good shop in the next floor too. So, you know, maybe it costs us 15, 20 life to take this Merchant of Magic. I think I might make that trade to start getting the magic upgrades online that we need.
Yeah, I started to come around to that as we were talking about the decision, specifically as we were talking about the Guardian's Amulet, and recognizing exactly how many things could contribute to this deck. For like, I want double stack for the Guardian's Amulet. I want holdover for the Perils of Production, because then I can ignore energy for the rest of the entire game. I don't probably want cost decrease on Cave-In, honestly. Like, it's a tech card I'm going to play some of the time, so maybe. I want to cost decrease the Frenzied Swarm, because being able to play that for free at the end of the hand, despite the fact we have a lot of other discards that may end up discarding it beforehand.
We have too much discard, actually. We're having trouble with that.
We do.
Foregone Power and Frenzied Swarm and Titan's Gratitude is a lot to ask of the deck.
But most importantly, plus
Plink.
20 and Consume is not bad for us. That
No,
goes on
it's
a
not.
Plink.
It's great. Yeah, it's great.
And then we got the plus 10s on Titans. Yeah, I'm down with it. Let's go.
Okay. I think we'll feel these spell upgrades. There's your holdover.
Is this too hasty? Because this is probably get discarded every turn, right?
Yeah, and that's pretty good, right? I mean, I don't think that we'll regret the holdover. Although, what are we even using it on? The deck is so cheap. Maybe it is holdover Guardian's Amulet, right?
The deck is so cheap right now, but also, does it have the ability to get more expensive than this? Our clan combination is like cheat out costs using offering instead of their natural costs.
Well, we have Umbra. We'll always be able to find like X costs and stuff. Well, if there's one thing I know about Monster Train, it's if you want to find something to spend energy on, you can find it. We'll find that. I think this. You know what? I think we should put holdover on Perils. And the reason is I know that you will find a way to get a lot of utility out of this.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I'm happy just throwing this on the Titan's Gratitude and moving on.
I like even making that a 0 cost sometimes, but...
Yep, I could totally do that as well. I like the idea of having a 0 cost that we can cast at the end of the turn instead of Foregone Power or some such.
Either that or it's going... I don't know where else it would go, right?
Consume.
Oh, there's about to be a big old Plink.
Get giant. That consume removal doesn't mean anything to us. Unless...
2 cost giant Plinkus. What do we upgrade here? I almost want to leave the other Titan's Gratitude for like a double buff, but would we ever actually land that? It would be great if it did 125 damage.
I think because we have like so much hunger for plus 10s that, and the fact that like we have to go to the merchants of steel in the near future, I think this is fine.
Okay, I like that. I also like free plinks, but we're not. It's like it's all energy upgrades for us right now, right? It's all going to the same place, as I like to say about my food. Have you noticed my food theme? I've really eaten a lot of Thanksgiving food over the last week. So offer me any and all opportunities to make food-related metaphors for the games that we're playing.
Excellent. Well, I would like to, over the course of this fight, as I'm doing each of the individual moves, if you could talk about the fight as though it is a multiple course degustation that is occurring each time a new set of enemies is being offered to us. Maybe a tasting platter, effectively. I'd deeply appreciate that.
Sure, I can work with that. Absolutely.
Let's go for these unit drops. The aggressive amulet is going to make him a little spicier.
Yeah, you know, it's a bold lead for this several turn multi-course fight, if you will. You know, it's going to leave our palate certainly tarnished by these initial interactions. But can we have, you know, enough health in reserve to enjoy the upcoming fights as well?
We'd hope so. You've got to leave space for the upcoming fights.
Yeah.
You've got to leave space to give the enemies their just desserts.
I think that goes without saying. Yeah.
Not having a minion, I'm actually really nervous with the upgrade I took. I kind of want to set up high and just use spells.
Yeah, and actually, you know, Frenzied Swarm dazes the enemy here. It's almost like taking a little bit of that spice and subduing it with a bit of like a light cream. And it totally deactivates the blight here as well, which has no food metaphor in this language.
Unfortunately, there's no analog for this one.
Unfortunately, there is no analog for blight in our multi-course meal, as we prefer.
Oh, why did you have to spawn on this floor, Collector?
Yep. It's unfortunate, you know, when you combine too many flavors together, oftentimes instead of becoming greater than the sum of their parts, that just all falls apart. You lose it in that profile. And that's what happened with the Collector. We lost that flavor.
Truly true. I really wish we were in the position where this had, like, you know, 2, so I could put the tech of chumping the Entombra that still gets eaten.
That's very smart.
Okay. You get to have your Entombra and eat it too.
Now, the final course is gonna demand a lot from us here. And frankly, it's not even clear if we'll still have any space left in our stomach by the time that it comes around. But I'm hopeful, you know, we have a bit of digestif here to clear off the lingering effect of those previous floors. In Titan's Gratitude Plus. Perhaps that's enough.
It tried real hard.
It's a decent amount of little frost there. You know, when I said that we would take 20 damage, what I meant was we would have 20 life left at the end.
Oh, I totally missed that. That's my bad.
But you know what this feels like? First of all, it's going to be very, very many months before I come back to this restaurant. Second of all, this looks a lot like a Covenant 25 run, which means we're now in my wheelhouse. So I'm happy with 27 life at this point. That's very normal. 2 trials, 13 life. That looks great.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, we're doing really well for Covenant 25. So I know we have problems with discarding, right? And card negativity, as I would term it.
Right.
Am I about to? Yes, I am. I'm about to make the argument that we should take the offering token based on the incant status of it.
Man,
Now, I will say, we have a lot
don't
of
know.
cards that discard random cards. We know that when we draw many of those cards in the same hand, we can't utilize all of them effectively. So using a targeted discard to discard one of those increases the playability of the rest of that hand, or rather can keep it steady.
But does it though?
Does it not?
Just because the math here, so this is the one case to where I think the math of card neutrality versus card negativity actually matters. We play one card and discard one card to draw one card. We're one card negative, which is no different than what we would have been at anyway by just playing the other discard card, right?
Yep. And we've got an incant trigger, and we also have an offering card in the deck that's a good trigger. I mean, I'm happy to pass it over. I'm not deeply attached to it, but in the circumstance where we end up trying to use the Guardian's Amulet every single turn, it's not a bad piece.
That's true. That's very true. Yeah, this is one of those weird cases to where it's just, I'm just looking for anything to help us get more value out of our hand. And honestly, I was leaning skip or flash freeze. But you know what? If you take this offering token, I am quite certain that we can find ways to use it. The targeted discard will matter. Being in a place to where you have 3 cards in hand and 2 of them are discard cards, and then they don't hit the card that has offering on it is like a real bummer. And offering token does solve that problem. I think flash freeze probably does a better job beating Daedalus for us, for what it's worth.
I agree on that front, but I worry that Flash Freeze solves a problem that we've already solved in different ways. We've got semi-backline damage, and we'll continue to grow that over the course of the Plinks, as well as obviously Soulguard the Martyr existing. And then also Frostbite is built out of other cores. Like, it's a nice card to have, but if I already have the ability to attack the backline, typically I want to take it.
Interesting. I don't even think of Flash Freeze as backline removal as much anymore. It just says 8 Frostbite. I often think of it as Frostbite supplement. But that makes sense. And you know what? We're about to get a unit and upgrade them, right? So I think that our next floor is going to look much better than the previous ones. I hope.
Let's go with the skip.
Okay.
I think if we okay. We don't have a
Ember
unit yet,
Drain.
though.
But we're about to.
But the unit might say, get lifesteal or get damage shield, right?
Yeah,
it might be Crucible Warden or the other.
No, we will never regret this pick. There is no world in which we're like, man, I really wish I hadn't taken the Immortal trade.
Really?
I cannot picture that world. No, because this is the world that I foresee. Oh man, Immortal trade wins this boss fight for us. Why didn't I take the Immortal trade? Or, oh man, we ended up getting so strong that it doesn't matter that there's an Immortal trade in our deck, so it's fine that I took this thing that would have been good for us, right?
That latter situation is the situation where I feel bad about it.
Oh no, I feel great.
In particular, with Soulguard the Martyr as the cold channel, we're very, very seldom actually going to get damage on that. Like, maybe
on
after...
that unit.
Yes, that's true. But then also, what is it we're looking for in an Umbra banner here that we utilize the Immortal trait effectively with?
Any unit. I will put it on a Morsel Master. I will put it on anything. Yeah, totally. There is one case in which it is somewhat anti-synergistic, right? And that's if we get the Crucible Warden, the one that gets damage shield. Yeah. And then you're kind of stacking across yourself. But otherwise, you can put some, +5, +10 on literally any unit there and stack lifesteal on it, and it will secure our next 3 rings. And that's exactly what we need. We're on 27 health, right? This could become our end-game mechanism for frontlining, or it could just get us through the next 3 rings, and that would be great too. I think this card is so good, man. The only time I have ever regretted
clicking that.
Yeah, I regret it every time I don't take it. I regret it.
I want the Offering Monument. It is a banner unit. It'll appear with Soulguard the Martyr. It helps meter out our negativity. We use the Perils of Production on it. It dies losing the Ember Drain after charging up all of our incants. It's Offering Monument.
It's such a cool card. Siren of the Sea is a consideration here too, for what it's worth. But
now that I have the Offering Monument, I want the Siren of the Sea as well.
I want this, yeah.
But I go in that direction when I see an Offering Monument and the amount of draw that we just desperately need.
Let's get another unit. Let's get more units. I want more stuff.
Yes, we are going for the additional unit here, right? Because
I think so.
There is a world where we try and use the Offering Monument. Okay, no, there's not a world where we do that. I tried. It's not. It's
No,
not a
we're gonna
role that
put some health on.
exists.
Oh, large stone offering monument is fun. Well, there's the warden.
Large stone on the alloyed construct in the middle line.
Is pretty sweet if we
We
can
have-
feed it enough.
Yeah, exactly. Inconsistent generation of fuel for it.
That's my only concern, right? And these are probably the worst 2 units for the lifesteal take, by the way, which is very, like,
I know.
it's like 1,000 spoons when all you need is a knife. You know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean, Alanis. The
Thank you.
Crucible Warden and Collector, I thought both would be a little about it. And Alloyed Construct, I think there were 3 runs in a row where I lost because I'd taken lifesteal on an Alloyed Construct, and I just wasn't catching that I was losing it so quickly.
Yeah, because of the double hit. Yeah. This is interesting. You know, Large Stone is also pretty good on Offering Monument. That doubles your draw. So we don't necessarily need to put Large Stone on one of these units.
Oh, God.
I know, it's kind of tough. I kind of...
Okay, so in my brain, there are 2 paths that we take from this direction.
Okay.
One of them is we Large Stone an Offering Monument.
Right.
We give it health as well. It becomes a dupe target. The middle floor becomes Soul Guard, Offering Monument. We cycle the deck 3 times in the first couple turns. We build a Soul Guard in the front line that is not unkillable. It's killable. It's eminently killable. But it is impossible that it won't kill all of the enemies, right? It is extremely effective in that scenario. We have other things like Cave In, as well as a little bit of spell support going into that build too. But in that build, we take neither of these.
Yep. Yeah. So then, is there ever a consideration to take one for now, just to kind of improve our stakes? Like, do we ever take Alloyed Construct just to help us sweep stuff up top for now?
I worry that we won't be able to feed the Alloyed Construct significantly enough to actually have it active.
We really do have... We have made all of the wrong choices if what we wanted was to consistently gorge. We've skipped 2 Antumbra Assaults. We have no, like, bottled morsels. We are missing a lot of morsel generation for that. It's very
also
true.
worth noting, exactly on the path you're talking about, we're about to fight Daedalus. We get a rare draft after this, and then no more common drafts for the rest of the fight. So we're out of the 0 cost generates 3 morsels into your hand. We're out of Antumbra Assaults as well. We're out of a lot of the good access outside of things like Gem Trove and Grovel.
Very true. Meanwhile, I'm over here messing with this blanket to try to stay comfortable. I've just been moving around the whole show, man.
Oh, God.
It's cold in Austin. I gotta get comfy and cozy so I can play so many video games.
I totally understand. I am currently sweat stuck to a leather chair. I envy
so similar.
Some comfort.
Oh gosh, I'm so scared to skip. I really am.
Okay.
I'm worried about not having anything to help us manage waves here. And what is the down the middle? Is it in that case? Is it Crucible Warden? Because at least it's a good stat stick.
Yeah.
It's a 1 cost.
That's the compromise I was about to offer.
Yeah.
Like taking this literally just as a 2020 that sits. That's all it has to do for the Daedalus fight. Because I do worry, same as you, especially with the 27 that we currently have. I don't think we kill Daedalus.
Yeah. I think I like this Crucible Warden.
Okay.
Just to be a stat stick, you know?
Now,
just to help us out.
Can I also pitch double upgrade on the Offering Monument, going to a Hell Vent, and then duping it with a Stygian banner next to it, looking for an incant unit?
Oh, I think that's incredible. I think that's just a great path. So are we going to be gaining armor on something? That is interesting.
I want to go to because, okay, so if we're gaining armor on something, it's not going to be the Offering Monument. Like, we intend on burning it quickly.
Yeah.
And, yeah, it could be the Crucible Warden, but we're also not going Crucible Warden for the incant and then a +10 on it right now. So if I mean, we theoretically
put them on a Train Steward.
I'll leave that open.
Put those on a Train Steward, baby. That's awesome.
It's entirely possible. I actually, oh God.
I kind of like it.
Maybe that was why we shouldn't take Crucible Warden. We use that.
Use a train. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I think that was in retrospect correct.
Well, no, we'll be happy to have a priority unit. I think we'll only slightly regret this, and it will reduce our variance. But this is, Stygian is one of the classes where I use train stewards the most. This is definitely one of the times. Yeah, you just need bodies sometimes. You just need some stuff out on the line.
I think I do use them more significantly, probably not with upgrades, so not necessarily to the same extent you do, but I think I use them more significantly in Tethys runs. I think in Soulguard I tend to just cast them aside.
Yeah.
I
like
say,
at least this runestone on a steward, I will say. I think that's
regardless of whether or not we do that, I think we now go to the concealed cabins, because we're not putting 2 upgrades on a single unit, so we're not waiting for the possibility of cheating out a 3rd upgrade on the same unit.
Okay.
So we might as well go there and see if possibly we want to reroll if we get money.
Okay. Yeah, that's smart.
Ooh, Hell and Event. The remains of Armageddon litter the icy landscape. Both Winged and Hellhorn lie peacefully in their resting final place of snow. Do you want
Hellborn.
Most Blessed Sword, a Thy Holiest Shield, or a Petrified Skull?
Is this a sword?
It could be a sword, right? If we manage to keep that until the end of the game, I get to gild it. I still haven't done that.
Oh my gosh! Click on that sword, Rhapsody. I can't believe.
Let's take a moment to think about the other ones. No, we're a revenge trigger deck, and we already generate Divine Shield if we wanted on that unit.
It's not bad for our Crucible Warden.
It's not
make an
awful,
argument,
but I don't think it's better than the other 2 in this scenario.
I take Petrified Skull here more often than the other things, and the reason is that Petrified Skull can either be targeted backline kill or giant health Gilded Wing kill, right?
Exactly.
So it adapts for you throughout the run.
It is super versatile. I think outside of the position of gilding, I would make the argument to take the Petrified Skull, but I'm more than happy to take the Most Blessed Sword, because I think they're relatively
AoE
close.
It's not terrible, and if we're consistently playing this on 3 energy, it's doing 90 damage to the front line. If there's multiple frontliners, you're getting as much damage output as you would have gotten from the Petrified Skull. This is not a bad sword.
I will also say,
I really like it.
A lot of the time, this will end up being cast after, obviously, Purge is removed. Oftentimes, this will end up being cast in the first couple turns after we've generated a ridiculous amount of energy with Perils of Production.
Yeah.
So this can just be clear the first wave, get a free turn.
And this is piercing, which means it kills off the heavily armored enemies in the late game. And you get to gild it. Win.
Do we have Fel upcoming or Arcus? I think it was Arcus, right? Yeah, it's Arcus.
Definite good guy, Archus Darkness Incarnate. Get over that.
I love when a character is introduced to a comic and it's like, okay, so you're the bad guy.
Yeah, I've been laughing about that a lot on my Wednesday streams with Final Fantasy Tactics. Because people have names, like Draclaw and Lord Funeral. Oh, okay. I see. You're okay. What kind of moves do you use? Oh, I see. Unholy Bloodsword. Right. Got you. So when are we gonna go to the mall? What's the plan?
We'll be going to the mall later. Excuse me? Why does everything you say sound sinister?
I just wanted to buy some shoes.
I could actually see putting the Runestone and the Strength Stone currently onto the Crucible Warden just to make it a more valuable unit by itself.
Okay. Sure.
Cool.
I feel like there's this undertone of also if I put these crappy tier 1 upgrades on this unit, it'll be easier for me to cut it later in the run.
A little bit. Because it's going to be competing for priority draw with the unit that we want on the first turn for the sake of the cycle. It is a thing here that I'm doing. I
hope that we get to ring 7 and we're excited to cut it, because that means we have succeeded.
Yes, I will say I think that is very likely at this point. I do occasionally have difficulty assessing whether or not I'm going too into something. I've been starting to think recently in terms of, am I being too stubborn about this? Am I being too obstinate? And I hope I'm not in this scenario, because I really like when this works.
Fingers crossed. I was thinking there about whether I wanted Crucible Warden on the first lane or the second, and I wasn't really sure. It makes it harder to stack up damage shield with all the little rodents out and about, you know? And that made me wonder if it was second or even third lane, just to have a chance to kill some of those off. But I think we'll be okay here either way.
Yeah, I think we're going to come out of this fine. You go in the front line. Titans. Nice. And significantly reduce the incoming damage as well. Do we want to try and... I mean, look.
Keep drawing?
Yeah,
sure.
we're going to have Ember Drain 4 next turn, but we'll also have a Perils of Production.
That's right. Huh. Then we can't feed the Warden.
Yeah. I don't think that's anything.
Curious, right?
Yeah, I think that just says end your turn.
I think so. Once we have 2 of them, we won't have that problem.
Mm-hmm. And we're getting there. We can chump block with a duel.
Yeah, I like that.
Take the opportunity to get the excess damage down there, kill a single unit, and then just
draw.
Try and hit for draws. Are we still throwing away shiny stewards?
Yeah, on the bot, probably.
Ooh, on the bot. As in, like, support for this unit, or as
a chump block.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. It should die next turn, and then we're back to buffing up our Crucible Warden.
I like it. Ooh. We've got 2 waves remaining. We're going to have the Perils of Production every single hand. We may actually start just stacking the Immortal trade here.
It's not bad.
If we're doing that, we do it right now.
Okay, let's do it. I like it.
Save 2 HP with a blink.
Love it. I guess we could use it on the bot lane where it would be maybe arguably slightly better.
Maybe, but I think the draw makes it.
Yeah, agree.
Puts it in this direction in the absolute least. Right. Hey, it worked out. Actually, we can chump for a lot here.
Feed it. Oh, yeah, that's true. That's not bad.
So because this is taking the 4 damage of the overcharge and then also providing its own 4, this is effectively eaten for +8.
Most blessed sword, indeed.
Remove the consume already. I want to be able to play it. Let me play with the toys.
Some of those events, you know, you're just sitting there waiting, staring westward over the pasture for the flower to come home.
Mm-hmm. When will my hope for peace come back from war?
I cannot believe how much draw this monument is.
It's so...
I mean, I can believe it because I've done it, but...
We're about to dupe it. It's going to be so good.
Do we actually leave it alive so that it can fight Daedalus?
So my argument against that is I think we can generate enough value by playing it out right now to actually be able to kill Daedalus. So that would be like Perils of Production, Guardian Amulet on the bottom floor, go back to this floor, cycle into a new deck with a Guardian's Amulet inside of it. End of the turn can be a Frenzied Swarm.
Okay. Okay. Let's do it. Let's win.
Okay, don't care about any of those. It's fine if we lose Frenzied Swarm.
If you cave in right now, we do just win right now.
Do we?
Yeah.
Oh, with this, with the amount of damage behind. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Let's do it that way then. Nice spot. That was bad. That was really bad.
Card. Oh no. Rhapsody.
Now, this is the famous Russian defense against Daedalus the Professor. You want to lull them into a false sense of security of thinking that they've won, and then out of nowhere, you stack so much Frostbite that they don't.
A brilliant defense and unexpected.
People never expect that one because it's a bad idea. Don't do it.
That was such a good demonstration of something that I've warned players away from is don't click yourself to losing.
Yeah. I
click
did
too many cards.
I tried to meme with a Waxen Spike recently, and I forgot that all of the morsels, all of the things, sorry, that were played on the top floor, they were imps in that instance, were dazed, because Covenant 25, right?
Oh, no. Yep.
So I had a lot of units that lived for exactly 1 turn and attacked for 0.
That's right. Oh, gosh.
Oh, it was bad.
That's brutal. That's brutal.
Hey,
living armor is the one that gets me the most with that.
I've never done that with living armor, but I think I've been more
wary.
Yeah, I've respected living armor, I think.
That's fair.
Hey,
That's smart.
I'm keen for like literally any of these, but standing out to me right now with the amount of draw power that we have is Harness the Titan.
Ooh. It's definitely a plink operator.
It's a plink operator. It's
Titan's Gratitude.
Amplified 5 times on each Titan's Gratitude.
Let's do it.
I want to hear about this deep offering.
So what deep offering does for us here is it gets us out of this situation where we're on like 1 card in the hand when we're playing around our offering monument. And because we're generating energy, we should usually be able to afford that. So it just regenerates a full hand. And then post offering monument, it's a lot of draw power, right? Especially where we're constantly discarding cards in our hand. So it's just like a good... If you're ever in a position where you're like, I've got energy left and I just want to look at more cards to play, then, you know, deep offering might be your answer.
By the time
solid card draw
that we've exhausted both offering monuments and, you know, we're moving from then on out, like we've got the Dark Forge, so it's got 50 health by that point. We've got the Hellvent, so we've got the 2 offering monuments both going insane. I wonder... Does the deep offering provide anything to us that we don't have access to in the first cycle, and do we need it by the second cycle?
Yeah. Well, I do think regenerating your hand first cycle is meaningful, right? So we've drawn cards, even with 2 offering monuments, and all of a sudden we're against Seraph the Diligent, and we're looking at a hand that's 1 foregone power, 3 blights, and a cave-in or something, and then deep offering is a bailout. But I really do like this Harness the Titan. I think we're going to be using spells to great effect for the rest of the run. Period. This deck is intending to play its spells.
I think
that's cool.
I'm gonna have like a mental. It's Nameless Siren 100% of the time here. I think. I hope you agree.
I think so too.
Okay. Good.
And then we don't have to worry about needing to keep our offering monument alive at 5 to kill the enemy or whatever.
Not only that,
so amazing,
but we're going to end up Ember draining ourselves after the point as well and utilizing Perils of Production. And the Rage is more than happy to go on a Nameless Siren that's already incanted for that.
We're already doing Rage things. Yeah, totally.
And this one's extremely obvious, I think.
I think this is always draw.
Is there any consideration for, we have 5 capacity, right? 5 capacity with a +2 from the Mind Jacks. So if we got Light of Seraph, we could put Soul Guard, Offering, and Nameless Siren down at the same time. And then after doing that, the Nameless Siren is already going to be 100 by the time that the enemies actually start attacking us.
I think that was the reason to take the Space Prism.
Yeah, I think you're right. I didn't think we were going to be large stoning an Offering Monument, but
I didn't either.
Think you're right.
No, I didn't either. We
don't have many other ways of providing that. There is one uncommon in Umbra that will allow us to do that. And then also, actually, I will say, there is a theoretical possibility that we utilize Cave-In as our way to load the Nameless Siren.
Yep.
Oh, do we do that?
Yeah, we should take a draw gem here.
Okay. Thank you for saying
How convenient that Cave-In. How convenient that Cave-In is our pips.
It's not only convenient, but it's also something that we were both talking about in different ways at the time that we drafted it, right? The possibility of it opening that up. I also think that that is a really, really good point towards your strategy of finding things that the deck is missing, finding ways to cover it, having interesting tech cards along the lines of Cave-In, things that give you resilience that you can't necessarily utilize yet, like Cave-In and Immortal Trade. I think that's a really good example of
it was value. A smart spot too. It's that's very out of the box thinking when you're already thinking about pips.
Oh,
wow. Yeah, sure. Let's have 3 of them.
There's no problem with it, is the thing. The problem is that it passes up a Titan Sentry. But
right, and I love Shork.
Oh my god, I had a run the other day.
But what if we only draw?
I had a Behemoth Shork with Large Stone on it, duped 3 times, and the summon to the middle floor for the.
Oh my gosh, that's Sketches of Salvation. Or
Sketches of Salvation, exactly. Yeah. Oh, it was ridiculous.
That's wild.
Yeah, we definitely don't hybridize.
Let's get that actual help online.
If it was Titan Channel, I could actually see a position where we hybridize here, because then suddenly that Immortal Trade comes back into play. We miss out on the 3rd level of Cold Channel, where each incant gives you 2 shards. Or rather, sorry, each shard gives you 2 Frostbite. But that might not matter when we have a giant raging Nameless Siren in the back line, right?
Right. That's a good point.
We may even end up hybridizing to that at the very end. I don't want to spoil it, but I think that's a reasonable plan.
It's not a bad idea to just get a little bit more heft. A
Mm-hmm.
little bit more frontline kill.
Don't think there's any problem with this for all.
Armor 15 is a lot on the backliners, but I think that'll be okay.
Am I overestimating how well we are going to do in the middle line, right? Because the Soul Guard is going to be taking 10 damage a turn, because they're getting the +3 before they go to the second. The Crucible Warden on the bottom floor is not really going to be standing there that long by themselves either.
Yeah. Row 2 has a bit more health liability because all of these units are buffing as they're rising. Well, not the boss, just the waves. I think we're going to be okay. I think we can take this. I think you're right.
Okay.
That was very hand-wavy analysis, but you know what? Sometimes you gotta trust your gut. It got us this far.
Oh my god. It's the hand.
It begins. Oh, and the cave-in's here.
It's the cave-in here too.
It really begins.
It doesn't oh god. Don't discard the cave-in.
Risk.
It's fine.
Reward.
Well,
you just...
Don't discard the cave-in.
It feels so weird. All of a sudden, I'm thinking Vault of the Void, like, it's fine. We'll just have it next turn. Just don't purge it. 5 head.
Yeah, no kidding. Okay, we're all good. No! Come on! It dodged 2 removals!
Do you ever play the cave-in right now and just go to the bot floor?
Oh, God. Yeah.
Honestly,
with the 2 damage, we actually may just go with that. I think you're right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So
we just have to have a plan to deal with the collector next turn.
The whole next cycle has to be just worrying about Nameless Siren and Cave-In?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Because this is going to like suffer attrition over the course of this. By the time the boss gets onto the field, the boss doesn't deal that much damage in this fight, right? It's like 5 damage itself, so we're good in that position at the absolute least.
It's the blights that are the trouble.
Okay. Load the Nameless?
There she is. I think so. And yeah, and then just keep on keeping on. This is weird. This is weird. Do we play Crucible Warden in front of her now, I guess?
Do we? Or do we keep going?
Well, how are we going to get any... Are we just depending on drawing perils? No, we got Foregone Powers.
We've got 2 0 costs, another 0 cost. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards remaining of the 13 card deck are 0 costs. We draw 2 off of every single cast. Any 0 cost gives us the ability to start the chain back up again.
The problem with Frenzied here, if you play Frenzied, is that...
No, I wouldn't. I need them to die to hitting me.
Yeah.
Honestly,
I think I would play the Crucible Warden here, but I'm good with either.
Just pop the Crucible Warden here?
Yeah.
Safety?
Yeah. For safety for this unit, to make it more likely that we can actually get to the Collector next turn.
Yeah.
Don't want to go too deep.
I like that it will also descend with the other. In fact, you can even get an Offering Monument up here.
Yeah, and that's adorable, and I love it.
Love this Harness the Titan right now.
That Perils is 6 damage. If you Perils either the Offering Monument or the Warden... Well, we need 40. It's so close. But double Perils would get there to where we got the backline kill. I'm trying to figure out how to kill this Collector, right?
I'm feeling like it's probably going to end up being a Harness the Titan Plink that does it. Because a Harness the Titan Plink either kills it or it lowers the health of the Harness, Light Harnesser enough that we kill it.
Yeah. Good call. Good call.
So we can set up all of that on the bottom floor, getting more draw.
And also killing more of these units. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that'll do it.
GG.
Let's harness that Titan and then...
Wow.
Got him.
The Plinkening is coming.
Yeah, it's becoming real finally.
This is awesome.
I'm really, really pleased with how this has come together. Couldn't agree more. Okay. Okay, we got another Peril's back. We're fine. Find
Love
me
it.
my... There we go! It's totally fine. They still hit the Soul Guard, so the Collector still dies.
You're right.
This is perfect. Draw 3 cards every time we cast one ourselves. It might be time to like just play out 2 shiny Stewards so we can fork on power and just start playing zeros.
I like that.
Cool. Give me the GD power!
I know. Excuse me.
All good, all good. My god, yeah, this is exactly what I had in mind. I'm so pleased it's come to fruition.
You mean have 3 offering monuments and then click spell cards?
Yep.
I also love this. This feels very, this is the kind of gameplay that reminds me of Dead Branch Corruption, what I like to call Slay the Slots.
Mm-hmm.
You just keep on clicking, and you get to think real fast about what you're going to click on.
Oh, yeah. We killed so many things there, we even had the ability to give them all the Frenzied Swarm and still be fine.
Wow.
Harness the Titan, and it's plus 25 damage on it.
Wow.
It's so good.
Are we going to get the beefiest upgrades on this Siren? We're going to find the multi, right? It's going to happen?
Yeah, I
We've had a
definitely
hard
want the
time with that
multi.
recently.
I don't want quick. Even slightly in this one.
We don't need it. And we kind of like taking little chip damage from the frontliners. Usually the high damage is coming out of the back line, right?
Mm-hmm. Typically. Right. Down.
Most of the time.
Come on, boss. I couldn't be better prepared for you. Ooh, let's make this a 50-50 for a double cast. Dang. And
It was worth the effort.
Send him. There we go. Lifesteal on a unit that doesn't attack. How about that? That's the ultimate
Well,
flex.
we'll put some rage on them. We can fix this if we want to in the future. Give them damage.
I will try and do that in the future. Okay, so here's a pitch. A card that says 0 cost and consumes with our deck is literally just draw more cards.
It is, which means which of these is it, though? Do you want to get better at making sure that we clear the full line in the early game, in which case it's Crystalline Seeds? Or do we want to get better at killing the frontliners in the early game, in which case it's probably Urchin Spines?
So we have 2 cards that reliably hit the frontliner.
Mm-hmm.
However, I will say, if we see the X cost consumed something, I can't remember its name, the deal 30 damage per X invested.
Most Blessed Sword?
No. So to the frontline target, it's a rare in Umbra.
Oh gosh. Yeah, I know the card you're talking about.
It's got a weird name, but if we see that, I want it.
Yeah, same.
That doesn't really change anything here. It's still Crystalline Seeds, I think.
I don't know. I mean, you play that on 3 with Urchin Spines and it kills anything in the game. 2 or 3. Right?
Yeah,
I think this is Crystalline, though. Why is that my gut? It's because we want to be sure that we're able to kill the Absolvers in the end game.
Yeah.
I think.
I think that contributes heavily. I think being able to kill a floor of sycophants in time could also matter. I also think it gives us the ability to more easily take the 7th floor challenge of Wilt Wings starting on every floor.
Yep, that's clever. That's true. You see, I love those moments. I'm just beaming. That's what I want out of my play and out of everybody who I advise with their play is to take your instinct and then like peer review it. Why is this my instinct? What are the specific circumstances? List them out. Like, be rigorous. It just makes you such a better player. I'm so much more confident in the decision now, and even if we're wrong, I'll learn more from it.
It definitely does. A large amount of having to commentate for an audience is something that has forced me to do that check of my own. Well, I'll translate this language into something that we've been talking about recently. Is to run checks on my own heuristics because I have to describe them out loud to a person. And I find a lot of the time, sometimes I'll end up even reinforcing my heuristic, but as you just said, it makes me much more confident in the play. But interrogating it also is the same thing that ends up revealing, oh, there is some faulty part of my head that was like,
Right.
this is a good idea, and I didn't understand why it was, and because I didn't think about that, I made a giant mistake.
Right. Exactly. No, totally sympathize.
I wouldn't be entirely sad to take a... Would I be entirely sad to take... I would be sad for the engine upgrade. We have the holdover
I don't
barrels.
think... Yeah. I went through the same logic. Like, oh, is this good? Well, maybe not. The card here that I would maybe take was Sacrifice, but I think I would end up going Skip too.
I thought you were about to say Gem Trove and make the argument that we could put that on the middle floor, and I was thinking about that for a second. I hadn't yet thought about the possibility of it preventing the incant response from the Soul Guard, but
Yeah.
as I was thinking about that, I was like, uh-oh, maybe I've passed over something, because that protecting a Nameless Siren, it's
It's pretty good.
good enough.
Jim Trove is nice. I like Jim Trove.
Jim Trove
no,
is
I
a
think
good
I would-
friend.
It is. This is curious.
Yeah, ain't it?
Is it the right because of the value of the concealed cavern and the removal?
Yeah, it might be, right? The Concealed Cavern could give us another Purge, right? We could put the Purge on a spell if it's the, like, Monsters Large Stone or Spell Large Stone event, and then that just consumes.
Yeah, actually, that's great.
It
Rail
could
Spike
also...
event?
Exactly, it could give us the Rail Spike event. We could end up with the Awoken Rail Spike possibly out of class. Another thing is it could give us the Gift of Gold, which I think we still have enough time to utilize in every single fight for a giant amount of money with the Perils of Production, especially.
The question is, when do we get our Monster Merchant?
Yeah.
Merchant of Steel.
It's not in the next area.
So it won't be until after Archis?
Yes. And even then, we're probably going... It's literally probably directly before the Seraph that we get the next upgrade on that. Unless we're making the argument to skip a double removal Concealed Caverns Merchant of Trinkets for literally the path we're about to take.
Yeah. This one's tough because I do think that maximizing our chances to find multi-strike is actually pretty important. Just because of how much flexibility it gives us for dealing with not only scaling for the boss, but for frontliners.
Okay.
Right?
Here's a pitch.
Okay.
We go left. We utilize that to go to the Merchant of Steel and look for multi-strike. Failing multi-strike, we get a plus 25 on the Offering Monument.
True.
And then the dupe in the next area becomes more powerful for the Offering Monument if we go for like a 3 Offering Monument middle floor loading minions down from the top. But if we get the multi, we can dupe the Nameless Siren and still use the same cave-in descend plan.
Okay, I like that plan a lot. Cool. I think that's quite strong.
I like having
That's
resilience
smart.
if you don't... There we go. I just like having some resilience built in the deck in case you do whiff on the hit you're looking for.
Agreed. Okay,
Hard reroll?
so that's the question, right? I mean, I think we would at least put a Battle Stone on an Offering Monument. No strong reason not to do that.
Yeah. I can put it on the unupgraded one.
And then the question is, do we put plus 10 on Nameless or do we just reroll?
I think reroll, because... Hang on,
Just in
so
case.
we can't get multi-strike again. We wouldn't large... Wait, we could large stone it, right? They're being loaded.
Yeah.
We wouldn't quick it. We wouldn't endless it either. Would plus 25 HP be a hit on it as well?
I don't know. Can you not get multi-strike twice in a row?
This might just be... I thought the rule was that if you got a third tier gem in here and you rerolled, you would never get the same one. Even if you purchase it. I might be wrong though. Maybe
I would
if you
believe
purchase
that.
it,
I
you
won't
can.
pretend that I know. I won't pretend that I know. I really don't. That's a curiosity, right? Because that makes a huge difference. If it is possible, then it's nice to keep that opportunity open. That's way better than plus 10.
Hang on.
Certainly have the cash.
Hang on. I think I found it, right? We never take the plus 10 on the backliner because in Seraph the Diligent, there are Pyre Wings with Sweep. And if we're setting up the Nameless Siren, we may just want a plus 25 on it. Because we can't rely on it hitting lifesteal in time to save itself.
Wait, Seraph the Diligent is consume spells, absolvers, and blights. Seraph the Chaste is the one with the Pyre Wings and the Ember Drain.
Okay, so...
But you know what? The fact that there are other fights that have sweep is the reason why I would rather have a 5/10 than a +10.
Yeah.
So I'm compelled by the argument.
I think what happened there is I know that the Diligent does a thing that I really dislike, and I forgot that it was the Absolvers and not the Pyre Wings.
No. It got us to the right answer, which is that we don't take this strength down.
Yeah, I'm happy to settle for the +5, +10 right now.
Same.
Does this make the Nameless Siren the dupe?
I've got to think we have enough offering monuments.
Yeah, right.
And it would be really cool to have 2 of these Nameless Sirens.
We're maxing hand size a lot of the time and actually inefficiently losing draw from some of them.
Yeah. Although there's an endless here if you want to try to do... It's like impossibly difficult, but there are endless offering monument shenanigans. They don't come back with their full health, but...
Actually, could you describe to people what happens to them when they try and become endless or get reformed?
So... This incant effect says -5 health. That's max HP. Now that's considered an enhancement effect, which I guess persists through reincarnations with Endless. Mm-hmm. So when you kill this offering monument off on that last health or that last spell play, and it goes down to 0 life, then you will redraw it on 1 life. It has 1 max HP now, and you can always get 1 more card out of it.
This is one of the things in the game that I think is so interesting. In not just this game, but in all deck building games, because as you start to get a mastery of the core mechanics, you try and utilize them in interesting ways, and sometimes the game says no. No,
you can't do this. You're like, wait, Endless Offering Monument? That's busted. And the game's like, well, you can try. You can actually. There are weird, like, Endless Offering Monument things that you can do, but that's definitely Theory Crafting 401.
I think Spikes is another reason that we needed to do what we did, but I think at this point, Immortal Trade might be enough to carry us through with it.
Yeah, we can take this. Plus, we're gonna play so many spells.
Yeah, no kidding. There are so many, but due to the amount of draw that we have access to, there are so damn many relics right now that change this run from, wow, this is wacky and very powerful, to, oh, what the hell did you do?
A lot of our runs in this ladder so far have gotten tons of relics, and that's one difference in this run so far, is that we haven't pathed through as many Herzl's Hordes and like relic opportunities. So I'm excited to start hitting those Merchant of Trinkets big time.
I definitely am as well. I'm gonna sack you on the bottom line.
Cool.
Because if we use Immortal Trade and then Foregone Power, we get the 3 cast. No, we don't, because this draws a card, Ryan! Never mind, we can do it.
Still did it. And it's actually great.
No, Ryan! It's fine.
I think I would have used that on the bot row there, actually. I think I would have just gotten the value from it instead of drawing.
Yeah, that probably was right. Do we? Do we ever? Huh?
Oh, we don't want to see units.
Okay.
It's too risky.
You're right,
Not enough cost upgrades.
Okay.
There are the units. Now we're talking.
Are we still loading top floor with the Crucible as well as the Nameless behind?
I was thinking we put the Nameless mid row right now, so it starts benefiting. We still got space for 1 more Offering Monument. And then Crucible top. That's what I was thinking.
We would have to
play
draw
like
into the support for the Crucible Warden, because right now we play the Nameless, we play Crystalline, and then we hope we draw Perils.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I see what you're saying. I like that line, though. I think that line's good.
Yeah, I'm on board. Oh, that's the other Offering Monument as well.
Gosh.
This is actually a really good... I'm actually kind of pleased that this has happened, because this is the worst that this deck can function. How is it going to survive this? I want to see.
And it's a reminder of how important it is to get the other Offering Monuments into play. Like, that's when it really starts to sing, right?
It's when it's replacing not just the card that you're playing, but another card, especially because we have so many things that discard a card that it actually becomes relevant. That Nameless Siren is almost certainly about to die.
Well, here's some things that we can do. We might be able to kill
we're
things off on this lane. Yeah.
Yeah,
we
kill
probably
one
want to
thing.
play a Titan's Gratitude on the top lane so that we don't leak spikes. Or cave in top lane also. That's possible.
I think this one has to happen right now.
Yeah. I agree. But now, do we play the other Titan's Gratitude top lane?
Yeah. The plan was exactly both of these got buffed to the ability to take out those 2 targets. It's just whether or not one of them ended up discarding the other if we had any priorities.
This outcome makes me wonder if we slightly avoid playing Ember Drain cards on turns 1 and 2 until we're sure that we have enough Offering Monuments into play. Because that was part of what hampered us on turn 2, was actually the Immortal trade play, put us in a position where it was hard to play out. Usually, like before we had 3 priority units that weren't Offering Monument, that's no problem, right?
Yeah, I agree. I think that's right. Lifesteal,
I love these.
Lifesteal. No!
We got like we can get the sword. There's a way out.
We can't get the sword. We have no more.
There's no way out. Yeah, you're right. It's over for this Siren, which is going to be very awkward.
It's going to be extremely awkward. Okay, we suddenly need to find a lot more health support for that Nameless for the Soul Guard, which I think means that we have to start buffing it with Perils of Production and then hit it with no, we can't. If we play another Perils, no, we can. This one's the holdover. We can still play this.
We can play that. Yeah. And
It's fine if we Ember Drain out, because we'll still have the ability to next turn with this dead to Ember Drain on you, play an Offering Monument, and then the Perils of Production try and...
So do we actually Perils the Siren this turn, just so we have maximum energy next turn?
So my argument behind wanting Perils on the Soul Guard is literally because I think that it is going to need to support its health with Immortal Trade later on.
Okay.
So I want it to have more rage.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Really don't
Taking
like
one
this
of our
turn.
draws is spooky too, because we really we've got to get to these Offering Monuments. This deck, it's not actually a deck unless it's got 3 Offering Monuments on the floor.
Yeah.
And then it is very much a deck.
This is not a deck. This is glue.
That's right.
Yeah, there's no reason to play this here. Well, is there a reason to play this here? Hang on, because the enemies attack first, so the Master of Light hits the Nameless Siren, preventing the Nameless Siren from hitting 2 times. So if I frenzy, we actually get the Nameless Siren to deal more damage.
Yeah. Good call. Sweepers.
Okay, we found the Offering Monument. We found some 0 costs. We've got a Crucible Warden, which I think we also need to put behind the Soul Guard just as damage. Start with the Offering and the Perils, I guess.
And then go.
Okay. I think we try and use Titans or Foregone to hit, so we pop the Crucible and then cast those.
Okay. What are we doing to the top liner?
It's dead.
They're dying. Perfect.
Not the hit I wanted, but it's okay.
One struggle here is that we have no space on this lane for our other big Offering Monument, but maybe that's fine.
Yeah, I'm hoping that that's going to be fine. Do we put down the Antumbra and then go for the Foregone? Like, is there anything else that goes there? No, just Antumbra, right?
Yeah, we're just going to get some more health. So where are we playing this Offering Monument out at all? I guess we could play it top lane so that we have cave-in potential.
Yeah, cave-in's left in the
deck. It's okay if it gets hit because that's current health, not max HP. So it doesn't really matter.
I mean, this doesn't have to discard anything if we put on it doesn't have to be on the top floor either. Never mind.
Sure.
Get you out of the cycle.
There it is.
Yeah, I think we found a way to bail out of this. We even get an extra energy next turn to offset our too much Ember Drain. It's not going to work. And then there's the Immortal Trade. Okay, I feel comfortable now.
Nice. Nice. That's actually so huge.
Single Mortal and Perils. And then I think we just cast on the bottom floor. I think we stop.
We want to... Yeah, we definitely want the Foregone Powers bot floor at least. Absolutely.
Hey, do we ever just go down?
Haven and put in work. Will we have enough energy left if we do that to meaningfully play?
I'm
not sure what the advantage is for us.
You're right. Is there any advantage to doing that? I
Yeah.
don't think there is.
If
It's
we had
literally
more of a
just
line
kill.
on the bottom, then we're actually overstacking, right? But it might be worth taking the extra turn to set up a bit more frost and stuff.
I kind of want to just foregone not amulets, because the enemy will actually lose both stacks of sap on this floor trying to kill the shiny steward.
Hey, worst case, 90 damage from the sword is like real damage, right? Like, that's not a bad turn at all, too.
Yeah, that is true. That we do have the hope for peace. All right, let's hope for
Yeah.
peace and then foregone just pass.
Okay.
I think we have this on the second floor already. Just being a little
think so,
careful.
too.
Yeah.
Yep, nice. GG. Those
GG.
are great. That was a good lab. I mean, and I mean that. It's really, really awesome when you have a chance to like test the boundaries of your deck.
Yeah, no kidding. I'm like, the statement that I said in the middle as things were starting to fall apart, I fully stand by. I do really relish those opportunities, because I think oftentimes that is something that enforces another mechanic of me checking my heuristics, right? Like, I thought this was resilient to everything. What did I do wrong? Why is this not
Right.
resilient in this circumstance, and how can I make it that in the future?
Thorns and Sweep. We got the double-double for hitting our back line. It's a good thing we put more health on that Siren, because it made a big difference.
Yeah, no kidding. I could easily go Crystalline or Titan's Tooth and skip. Just anything except Frenzy, basically.
I kind of like the Crystalline over Titan's Tooth, because I think it does the same thing with less option, with less challenge right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's true. I like it. Well.
Well.
What have we here? Prism Retrieval. Ooh, I'm not scared at all, because with 1 energy, this, in fact, I could even negative cost this, right? And then it fetches offering, or Nameless Siren if we should fail to hit any of those in the first cycle, because, spoiler alert, I intend on cutting all of the shiny stewards as well as the Crucible Warden. I think we're about to dupe a
Get
Nameless
me
Siren,
off this
right?
wild ride.
We're about to dupe a Nameless Siren that has multi-strike. I
We should
legitimately
take it.
think
I know.
this
I'm with you. I'm with you. I like this. I like this Prism Retrieval.
I want to get off Raps's crazy ride.
Get me off Rhapsody's crazy ride. I love Steward.
Look, as we go up in the higher covenants, I am going to relish the opportunity to play with stewards more.
I just relish these runs. I take a lot of joy from this. That's for sure.
Do I.
I think this is sigiled.
Prevents a lot of the Absolver nonsense. I mean, this does nothing, so it's either this or skip.
I guess we already got past the point that... Yeah, what are we silencing? There's a few things. It's worth. It's better than nothing. Shadowbox is like,
and
how often?
Wiltwings.
Yeah.
Hey, Wiltwings are actually a problem for us right now. Solgard will die to him.
Yeah, that's true.
Do it. And we still stand by this despite the last battle.
I love this, because that won't be a problem in the final battle.
I could theoretically see in Perils of Production dupe, but it's possible we end up duping that in the final area as well.
If I would be careful to dupe the holdover perils, just because of what it does to our draw when we don't have a bunch of offering monuments on the board.
Good point, well made.
But I think duping the non-holdover one is really not bad at all.
Blinding and Looming. Okay, so effectively, we do want to set up a second floor to try and bait him to go to that floor and pop down the Looming. This enemy always alternates between 2 floors, right, though?
It hits every floor, doesn't it?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
It's just whether or not actually forming another floor prevents or actually contributes to him not targeting a floor as many times.
Right. I think it's kind of like the Seraph, right? The pattern of moving across floors is that the Seraph and Darkness Incarnate will prefer to use their effect on a floor that has units.
Right.
But they'll still move around the whole train.
Got it.
There's really, like, I feel like I should understand these mechanics better than I do with hundreds of hours of Monster Train, but some of it is still kind of witchcraft to me.
Yeah, someone needs to go away and make a video that explains a lot of the stuff behind the scenes, possibly with either having discussed with the devs release of mechanics that may necessarily be hidden from players, or possibly by cracking over the game code themselves and taking possibly up to 80 hours to interpret it. And
what a good idea.
Yeah, it seems like a really good idea.
I'm gonna go sit in silence briefly, but then I'll be back to play this video game, this joyous moment.
Hey, do we ever start charging up the Nameless Siren here on turn 1 and then load offering monuments?
Sure.
Cool.
I don't see why not.
Oh.
It would be good.
Is this battle like really loud for you as well?
I don't get any sound.
Ah.
When this first came out, I did find that the music felt slightly louder in the new fight.
It's weird. Oh, hang on. These are both the 2 capacity ones.
Oh no. So, weird. Do we like play them top?
One on each, right? We have the other offering monument that's cost 1 or size 1, so that can go in the middle. Or are you talking about Nameless there?
Well, no. I was just trying to think about. Really, we just don't go off in the mid lane this turn, and that's okay, and that's fine. So I like this idea of 1 and 1, and then we'll be caving in from the top anyway.
Just throw.
I like that play.
mean, we could try and draw on the top for you. We've got the ability to regenerate energy if we really need it.
In that case, is it Crystalline bottom and Harness the Titan top to draw? Just because the Crystalline still does something meaningful.
Yes, but it's the opposite order just in case.
Okay.
That's fine. Sometimes you whiff.
Yeah. We played to the out.
Okay. And we found one hell of an out.
It begins.
Daze 1 to your units.
Not a big deal.
Yeah, it'll daze each of them, but the Nameless Siren's going to be fine. Okay, so this one goes on this floor. Wait, do we... We don't even have the ability to use all of this yet.
Not yet, but Spoon.
We have to draw to that Perils to be able to start doing this?
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. So is the suggestion that maybe it's Nameless top and then just cave in?
Yeah.
That draws for us too. It's not terrible. That's not bad. In fact, it's pretty good. But then we're going to get Looming next turn, aren't we?
Yeah, it's going to be on the mid line as well.
The mid lane. Oh, you know what? We can wait to cave in here. That is not the end of the world. And just play out our 2 units in the 2 different places. And like plink bot lane and just call that a turn.
So then we're looking for the Foregone Powers and the Perils of Production to try and... I mean, we got a lot of 0-cost cards left in the deck. Try and draw us through the new cycle for the sake of the Descent of the Cave-In.
One of the things about offering monuments that I've come to realize is this is stored value. It doesn't matter if we draw now or draw next turn. As long as we do it before the boss gets to us, we're going to get the full value out of this offering monument, right? So as long as we're clearing the waves on the way there, when the turn comes, it's going to be great.
Okay, hang on, how much Frostbite are you going? We've got no shards on this floor. That Clipped Reflector is actually going past. This floor can handle them.
Yeah.
Oh, thank heck! Oh!
Nice,
Good
nice.
Lord.
That's really... Then we have no problem just going totally ham.
Yeah.
Time for complete ham.
I love a good bit of ham. Are you a ham man?
I have eaten so much ham.
Okay, I'm glad to hear it, because unfortunately, I hate to speak bad about my colleagues, but in the Wholesomeverse, there is a ham heathen. Alexa thinks ham is the worst meat. I don't.
Huh?
That position's untenable to me.
It is.
How do you have like a honey leg of ham at any point in your life?
There's a lot of things I can respect. I can respect all meat is the worst meat because I'm a vegetarian.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. No problem. I don't eat X or Y meat because, for religious reasons, or I didn't grow up eating it, or I really like this thing because it was... But, I eat all meat, and I have decided that this pork product is the worst of them by flavor profile.
Makes absolutely no sense to me either. It's
I don't know about that.
It's like he suddenly slips into another language as he's talking to me. I cannot
start speaking in tongues.
Not even
What
speaking
is
in
that you
tongues, but
said?
like, he's speaking in light. Like, it's that far away from my ability to interpret it.
In light.
This is just click. This is just clickathon. Stop thinking, Raps. Just click the cards.
But it was hard to tell when we got past that point. I respect it. Oh my gosh. What if you play that sword on the bot lane? How much damage is that?
It's approximately damage.
I guess it makes all of our other spells more expensive, so it's pretty bad, but...
I mean, we can play all of our other spells first.
Yeah, at the end.
Ooh. I mean, that would be the end of our turn if we...
Once we do that.
There's no coming back. Hey, you know what we could do? There's only one unit left in the deck at the moment. It's the Crucible Warden. We could actually pull it out with the Prism Retrieval with plus 30.
And it'll be so big. And then we can cave it in.
Yeah.
We can't afford to do that yet, but when we can afford to do it, it'll be a big unit. Sure. Why not?
Literally, this isn't going to matter at all because we already have all of the damage and more that we need from these Nameless Sirens,
Yeah.
but I'm glad to do it regardless.
But it's cool.
Oh, never mind. It's going
nice.
down.
It's all going. It's. Don't stop. Continue instead.
Then...
Delightful. We finally got sharded up too.
Oh, it's perfect.
GG.
How much can we do? Okay, harness. So just don't cast the no, but so the Titan's Gratitude and the Foregone Power are going to compete against one another for the discard of the Guardians. So we always have to cast only 5 of these, but possibly only 4 if these end up discarding one another. So then, do we play this first?
Well, we play out the perils, right?
1 perils into Titan. It's just whether or not we want perils to be the discard target, right?
I see. I see what you're doing here, like a harness into Titans, so that we have a better chance of being able to set up the guaranteed discard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Gotta love
can
it
have
when
it all.
doesn't matter.
You do. I do. I wonder if we're gonna get double stack on that immortal trade, and if that's part of our in-game plan. That's such a distant thought now. Many moons ago, I remember discussing that with a younger version of you and of myself.
So full of youthful energy back in that day.
The immortal trade days.
Back before we had that one flaw that went really wrong, and I suddenly aged. I'm looking like...
We became so much more serious in that moment. That's when we grew up.
Yeah, exactly. I suddenly went from 2008 Obama, 2016 Obama, right? Like, very, very quick change.
Oh, man.
Hey, we haven't even got the incant still yet.
Yet.
Exactly.
I love that. I love that enthusiasm.
Oh, it's happening.
May it come to pass.
Nice.
That was a dominant fight. Would you like to tap the furnace one time?
Would we? Would we? So, it's good. I agree. It's very, very, very good. But...
Go on.
What are we lacking in this deck? Because I don't think it's Furnace Tap.
We're
Like,
lacking consistency.
Outside of the
honestly.
2 Titans Gratitudes, we're lacking frontline damage.
Yeah, that's true. And Ancient Synergy is a bunch of damage. We've got a lot of spells.
It sure says damage, don't it?
Sure says a lot of damage. But you know, Furnace Tap is also frontline damage.
It is, but it's not initial, right? So this is going to be good frontline damage 3 turns after the first turn, right? So probably by 4th. For average draw, be able to play it, have the descends, you know, actually have our setup. Whereas Ancient Synergy in one of the first 2 hands, a lot of the time is we're going to have the energy to play it a lot of the time, but also we'll have the ability to just call a flaw off for us. Actually, I feel less comfortable about that now.
I'm looking at it and I'm like, Furnace Tap is also cheaper. We've got a Most Blessed Sword, which is not bad. Maybe this costs us a bit of leak, but Furnace Tap is solving the waves from the turn you play it forward, basically, right?
Yeah.
That Siren is only going to get better at killing frontal targets.
Speaking of... Poor segue. Is it... It is more... So the energy literally is only going to matter for the first turn before we start Ember Draining.
Yep.
All right.
I like the draw.
I like it too. I just definitely have to consider the others.
Yeah. No. And this is great because this is the first time that it's been very, very, very clear to me too.
Mm-hmm.
What was I gonna say a second ago? I don't remember. Something about the cards that we play. Ancient Synergy.
Frontline damage, maybe?
Oh, it made me think about the fact that one of the interesting things about decision making in games like this, I always talk about there's no decision in a vacuum. And usually what I mean is, what are the actual cards that you have already? What are the upcoming problems and what are your relics? But one thing here that's a little different is, what's your current health? You can afford to take a line which is better in terms of like variance, right? This will never die, but worse in terms of the best line. This will sometimes take 20 damage from you if you have 20 life to spare. And that might have been one of those positions to where it's like Furnace Tap might result in slightly more leaking in the earliest turns of a fight, but is much better at securing the fight in the long run.
Yeah,
we have 100 health.
I think in that framework so seldom because oftentimes, in Covenant 25, unless you've got something that specifically happened, your HP is probably going to be hovering around
small.
40 to 60 for the rest of the run.
Yeah. You're constantly dealing with a scary amount of health. Absolutely.
I just want to hit this reroll.
You're not tempted by Chain of Gems?
Not really. So a lot of the time when I'm tempted by Chain of Gems and I have it's an Umbra artifact, so you have Umbra the entire time, right?
Right.
It's the ability to generate a morsel, which I then play in the front line as a chump blocker for 3 hits. But we don't want to chump block for our card. We need the revenge. And then we're not really casting on the 3rd floor very commonly at all, and I can't imagine that changing much in the future.
Remember when it wasn't a revenge trigger and that was just like the most busted unit?
Was it the revenge? Because it was action at the time, but it was like...
Yeah.
I think it changed multiple times. I think it changed once before I even started playing with it. I think I was like a week late. Anyway, I just want to hit the reroll.
I like a reroll. Let's do it. I like it. Wow. I like all of these. Can we have them all?
How much do we even consume, though? We have 1, 2...
We're going into Seraph the Diligent, no?
We are going into Seraph the Diligent. That
once
is
a turn at least.
30 frontline damage every single turn. Okay, yeah, 100%. That is another thing that I need to be thinking about. Trader's Quill, I never think about in the context of Seraph the Diligent for some reason.
Of the Seraph, yeah. It's weird. It's because these are like little bitty tidbits of things to think about, right?
Mm-hmm. Hey, with a bunch of Plinks still left in the deck, that Tempered Talisman isn't bad either.
That's what I'm saying. I would literally click here, I think. I think I buy all 3.
So, clicking Rules of Containment with the Jack Strips already gives us the ability to kill Wilt Wings before they get to the 2nd floor?
Yeah.
Well, no.
Well,
when they get to the 2nd floor.
Before they get to the 3rd floor. Yeah.
So they still will deal damage to our frontliner.
Unless we're set it up on the top. That's true. So I guess that's not as meaningful. Well, it makes a Hoarfrost better if we get one. That would be a cute
It makes a Hoarfrost very slightly better, yes.
I think I always click at least the first 2. You make a compelling point that maybe Rules of Containment doesn't meaningfully improve.
Okay. I agree.
Yeah.
Oh!
It's here. The spikes. Wow.
Well, see, the thing about that is this sure says Awoken Rail Spike, don't it? Spike of the Stygian is very, very good as well. I can totally see that being used in a Seraphite consistently, but I think it solves a problem that, like, this solves and then solves again and then solves one more time just for fun.
I'm into this Awoken Rail Spike. I love it. Plus, then we get to be triple color rainbow.
Hell yeah. That rep. All right, and... Do I? So...
I don't know.
The case that I would be making here, were I to try and make the case for the hybridization, would be it doesn't result in me having to use the Perils of Production on the front line anymore in order to support the HP of the Soul Guard with Lifesteal. Instead, literally just a single play of Lifesteal any cycle will support the Soul Guard for the rest of the run.
And that is huge. And actually, you know, the earlier thing was it would be nice to have one more unit that's just doing a little bit of damage, right? I think that's solved now that we've duped the Siren, so I'm not nearly as worried about that. But 20 extra life and having immediate lifesteal value is definitely meaningful. How much of a difference does it make in terms of our scaling damage, though?
I think that by the time that Cold Channel 3 has scaled to the point that it matters, the Nameless Sirens are already killing everything.
Winning. Let's do this. You know, you make a really compelling point. This hybridization looks really good. We're going to have enough scaled damage anyway. And we're going to play so many spells. I mean, if we play less than 30 spells in the Seraph fight on that lane, I will be shocked.
Oh, yeah. That will not make any sense to me at all.
And that's 90 Frost a turn. So it's a triple attack.
I guess the big difference that it has, because it doesn't really have a wave difference, would be for the boss. But then again, like the Nameless Siren scales up. I think oftentimes I end up... So I've expressed before that I want to see like a pie chart, effectively, that just shows the breakdown of what was contributing to my run, so that I can see, oh, I was investing a huge amount of work into getting this work, but it was 1% next to the 99% of damage that was put out by everything else, right? Or 99% of effectiveness. I'm not necessarily going to talk about damage. Obviously, you need block, but...
Because sometimes 1 damage is more important than 100 if it killed the backliner.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
But the broad idea of knowing what degree to which each thing contributes, so you know when to stop supporting something and maybe pivot to a different build, is something I'm really interested in. And I've started to be thinking about it recently in terms of curves, right? Oftentimes you'll talk about the curves and in different aspects for different characters, especially in SCS. But I've been thinking about it in terms of over the course of the run and then over the course of each individual fight. When does this crest? When is this at full effectiveness? And when is this at the effectiveness that bypasses the enemies? No longer I care about scaling this. And I think that's exactly the kind of thing that I was having to apply there.
That's a great analytical... These games are just absolute analytical treasure trove.
No
they
kidding.
Really are.
I think we kill enough of the frontliners with spells that we can take this.
Okay.
Feel a little bit dodgy about that, but I think we'll be able...
It's scary to have all these spikes on this run, isn't it? But we look at our relic bar too. We're in a very different position now than we were very recently.
Offering.
This is cool.
We literally just Awoken Rail Spike, turn like third card.
Would we ever do it second card and not play the Offering Monument?
Ooh.
Or is that madness?
Why? No, I want to hear it.
The reason was that we are at least decently likely to draw an Offering Monument from it at that point. And then it gives us more chances to refund energy by finding perils. And then more of our deck becomes cheaper. I don't know. I couldn't convince myself one way or the other here. It was just kind of it was like an errant thought.
So here's the thing that I think convinces me that you are right, that we don't play the Offering Monument first. And okay, I've got another competing point I just thought of. But the reason I don't want to play it initially is because the Awoken Rail Spike counts as a spell cast, and it is going to draw a card with the Offering Monument that is not cost reduced. And if that happens to be a Nameless Siren or another Offering Monument, we're pretty sad. Yeah.
That's a good point.
The counter example is, what if we start drawing our other banner units? Like every turn now we draw Nameless, and then Nameless, and then Crucible Warden, and we have no Offering Monuments out for the first 3 turns.
Yep. That's true. That's a good point.
I think we have to play it because of that. I think there's more risk in the other direction.
Okay, so then here's the one that's in the middle then.
Sure.
We go Soul Guard and Offering Monument, and we play Awoken Rail Spike on a floor that's not the Offering Monument.
Oh, love it. That's great.
It's very cute.
Okay, hear me out. Are we overlooking the Most Blessed play on the bottom floor? Most Blessed Titan's Gratitude,
deal with that problem?
Solve.
You know, it might just be better. And Awoken Rail Spike second cycle is not going to disappoint us.
Yeah.
You have disappointed me for the last time.
We will be guaranteed to be able to generate enough energy to utilize it effectively. We'll have more units down to utilize it effectively.
Yeah.
It's this.
Okay. That's a solid play. And then we've solved.
We don't want to draw.
Nah. We wait. Look at those spells doing stuff.
Yeah, no kidding. I really do like. So oftentimes, back when I
Nice
was
play.
earlier on. Thank you. Back when I was earlier on, I felt like a lot of the time I was building one floor solutions, and now I still feel like I build one floor solutions, but my second floor is my spells a lot of the time, right? Like I'm finding other ways to. Effectively, I'm responding to the critique and trying to adapt to the critique, but I'm adapting to it in a way that makes it look like I'm not.
This is a very reflective day for you in your play, Raps.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I'm just feeling particularly introspective today.
Every once in a while, as a creator, you know, it's just the confluence of your own self-awareness and criticism, the thoughts of people who watch you and contribute to your comments or to your chat room. I have these days to where I wake up and I'm like, I have to revisit all of my Slay the Spire play. Everything must be improved.
Yep.
It actually can be a really valuable exercise.
It's exactly what I was about to say. I've not always found that, like, I've not always found that. That's a bad framing to start off on. I have often found that quite useful in retrospect.
As long as you're honest and fair with yourself, that's the big thing, because you've got to recognize that the place that you're coming from is really, really, really high competency, right? It's not like we're starting from ground zero. It's just that our framing of our world changes with us. As humans, we're really, really, really good and really fast at moving our normal, right? And so all of a sudden, we've got all this critique, but we're 500 hours past the point that we were working with a novice level of play, right? So, I don't know. It's all fascinating to me.
Could not agree more.
I talked recently in my last stream about the difference between confidence and competence, which is something that I see people stumble on all the time. But like, you have to have confidence too.
How do you find people stumbling on it specifically? Like, what's the approach?
It's mostly that games like Monster Train and Slay the Spire and Vault of the Void, and even like the more action-oriented games that I play, like Risk of Rain 2 and Spelunky, require you to have a huge amount of confidence, because otherwise you'll experience analysis paralysis and frustration constantly. You need to be able to decide that a play is pretty good and be confident that you're right. But at the same time, if you are confident in a play, but your confidence is not backed up with actual rigor, then you're not actually asserting any level of competence. You haven't earned that truth, right? Oh, that's super unlucky.
Yeah, you're setting up for a thing. But yes, I agree, right? The half-hearted play, the right play, but half-heartedly oftentimes will end up in you just stopping short of where you actually needed to go. Like the amount of times that I've been in a situation where we've previously spoken about the phenomenon of breaking out, recognizing when you need to break out, especially. The amount of times that I have been in that position and the breakout play was something like, I'm not playing my champion in this first cycle because I will lose if I do it, and I have a chance if I don't. If I didn't believe in that play, I play that fight normally and I lose.
And you lose. But this is where it gets interesting, and this is why I say it's a stumbling point, is that you must have confidence, but it also will be your undoing to have too much confidence. And that's what I see in players, to where, you know, particularly as a Twitch streamer, I'm interacting with people all the time, and I have interactions where people come in and say, this is the correct play. And I often have to say, why is it the correct play? Is it the correct play because you have it in your mind that it's the correct play? Or is there actually some rigorous analysis that you did to land on that decision, right? So I'm always reminding people, don't confuse confidence with competence. They're two different things. You need to be confident, but don't let you trick yourself into thinking that you have it solved if you didn't solve it.
Yes, I will say, especially in that capacity, oftentimes the most confident voice in the room, I'm not necessarily going to say, like, I could skip that. But I would say I give it about a 40
Yeah, that's pretty fair.
To steal a particularly well-explained point I liked.
Who would say that?
Couldn't imagine. Alright. Yeah, we passed this fight a while ago. I just need to click the cards now.
It was fun to just think about the mentality of these games while I watched these cards get clicked. It's actually a really complex fight. You've managed a lot of stuff. Incant is always that way. There's a lot of little micromanagement of what's in my hand and what floor do I want to play this on.
Yep.
But here we are with this line.
I feel like my kind of like pet nature of dealing with specifically the Stygian recently has given me the ability to kind of do those things more automatically than otherwise.
Yeah.
But it's definitely something I had to approach slowly. Okay, those thorns can be slightly annoying. Can I do a cast on the bottom floor? No. Let's go. One kill. Okay, we're fine. Fight's over. Fight.
GG.
10 life steal on the Soul Guard. We heal out of this fight, in fact.
You know, I'm back to being really excited about this Immortal trade, which I'm not super surprised by because it's very rare that I'm not, but what we're doing with this Titan Shard is very cool.
I'm glad that I took it. Or rather, I'm glad specifically that you made me take it.
We took it. Our diet starts today.
Yeah, I like that. Because I've got all this eggnog to work off. Crystalline seeds unnamed. So I could take another crystalline, but I also don't need it at all, even slightly right now.
Yeah, right. It's like it certainly is a zero cost card.
It is. There's a little bit of a negativity going on in my mind where I look at this Awoken Rail Spike and I'm like, if you hit a zero cost card, I'm sad about it, right? Like you're not decreasing the cost of anything. But at the same rate, that's just more draw and more incant at the same time. So it doesn't matter. Like I miss out somewhat on the value of the card. I think we can happily skip here. I think the 10 gold may mean more than the card.
It might. It might get us one more relic or something, right?
Oh.
Ooh. That's interesting. There's two cards here that are particularly interesting to me.
Second support for the cave-in.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Just like having double corruption just to make it more likely that we find it when we need it.
I mean, it is so...
Void Binding is okay, too.
Void Binding is okay, but like my eyes are stuck on that cave-in right now because if we don't get it at the right turn, we needed it last fight. It hurts.
It does. Let's do it. That's a lot of consistency.
Yeah.
It's cool that we found another one here, like one on floor 1 and one on floor 7 or whatever.
Okay. This, so for me, I'm gonna go out with my pitch. My pitch is going over to the Merchant of Steel, literally just because I want the Hell Vent on a Perils of Production.
Okay.
I think that's too much. Like my brain is like, do it, but be wary.
Let's look at the deck. Because I'm a little drawn to the Merchant of Magic because I think we've only hit one.
We've only hit one. That said, the things that the Merchant of Magic do for us is significantly less now that the spells only matter for their incant value, or largely matter for their incant value.
Double stack on Furnace Tap or Offering or on Guardian Stone are both still very good.
You're right. That is a third tier rune that we'd be looking for, though, right?
It's true. Yep, it's very true. And we know that we can just get more health on our Offering Monuments. Heck, we don't even need to dupe the Perils of Production. We could dupe an Offering Monument and it wouldn't even be that bad. We would have 4 Offering Monuments in this deck. When have you ever had 4 Offering Monuments and thought, this sucks? I wish I had less Offering Monuments.
I've definitely not thought that ever since I've seen Amphid's the ridiculous max damage run. The counter is obviously the Merchant of Magic, but also the removal the Merchant of Magic provides us, giving us the ability to
more easily
say goodbye to the 3 cards that we don't want.
That's worth a fair bit of cash too, actually.
Which could buy us another trinket. And there are a lot of trinkets left in the pool that are good for us. Like, we've whiffed pretty hard on our trinkets so far, TBH.
Let's go left. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it.
Okay.
Wonder if we would ever hold over the...
Nice.
Vapor Funnel is good. I would Vapor Funnel and roll probably.
This
Vapor
one's
Funnel
summoned light
saves us
wings?
from light wings and stuff.
Yeah, so we definitely.
Yeah, they've all
Vapor
got
Funnel.
light wings. Yeah.
Hey, that's the counter example, right? Rules of containment and the jack strips kill that before it attacks.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
So it was also 180 at the time. So literally, we're just investing to do the same thing later.
And then it would have done slightly more damage, I guess. But you know, this could also save us from like a frontliner that barely leaks.
Oh come!
You don't want a guild marker right now? What?
If I had hang on, let me just work this out. If I had 900 gold, then yes.
Yep. You could buy a fossilized fangs for the unit that you want to remove from your deck.
You're right. That does seem like a good idea. But before I go and do that, I'm immediately going to go over here and just toss some of these in. Ooh, times gratitude on 90 seems a good idea.
That's pretty good. Yeah.
We can start zero costing some extra stuff if we really wanted to, or
Are we
can get more
minusing?
draw.
Yeah. That is, I think, the play.
Okay.
Bigger rail spike.
Is there ever a universe where we consume remove this as well?
Ooh.
We could consume remove the Furnace Staff and still be able to play that with the Perils of Production as well.
That's insane.
I don't think we hold over anything. I think you're right. Holdover slows our cycle, and we don't want that right now.
I will say one thing that we'll have to be very careful about is that the odds, if we don't say it beforehand, of accidentally playing our holdover Perils of Production first card and losing it, are very high. I have made that mistake so many times, even after talking about it.
I will attempt to guarantee that that doesn't happen so we don't have to spend 90.
Good. Another biggest plink, I guess, is not horrible here. There's that consumer move too.
Yeah, no kidding.
Kind of cute.
I think we can do this.
Do you wanna? I kind of wanna.
I think that this might represent the ability to kill the Seraph before it comes into the field.
Which is always desirable.
Let's do it. And then one finally large plank.
The biggest plank.
Sorry,
Did we already hit the vortex?
We haven't, but we still have more removals to do afterwards as well. It might be Foregone Powers now. They're good draw, but they're also card negative until we have 2 out on the field.
Yeah. Although, they get rid of themselves, right? It's often okay to have a bit of an abundance of spells for Seraph the Diligent.
It's true.
Were there no more relics? Did we really whiff that hard on relics?
Yeah, we whiffed real hard.
I guess so. Winged Technology looks okay. If we ever wanted just like a single turn block.
I struggle to think of any turn where we're going to want to chump in front of the Titan channel.
Now that it's the way that it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think like
this might
more removal getting us to a immortal trade faster is more defense than Winged Technology is.
It's true. That's very true.
I think Frenzied Swarm can totally go out of the deck. I think we almost never play that, and it's just a card that we dislike having.
You know what? I can get behind cutting that because discard full hand 2 is actually causing us problems.
Yes.
But otherwise, I would honestly be okay with keeping this deck as it is here. Like, just literally carry the money. Because we draw so fast when there's a couple offering monuments on the board that the Foregone Powers are fine. Okay. We've got things burning themselves off because of consume. Like, yeah. It's too bad that we didn't find more useful relics there, but I think we made it. I think we got this.
Yeah, we will be totally fine. I will say, there is a large amount of me that is sad that we didn't find an excavated Ember Cache at any point.
Yeah,
because
that would be cool.
consume removal on that.
Ooh,
with
so
offering
fun.
monuments.
Yeah. Second cycle accelerated. Look at all the silence. Silence those light wings. Be silenced.
No talk.
I always call this Absolver, but that's a Purifier. Which one's the Absolver? I need to do some memorization for this game. It's clear.
The Absolver is the 1/5. Purifier is the 3/10.
Okay. Ooh, are we going to play a Prism Retrieval this turn?
I think we will. It's just... Do we load? Are we going Nameless Siren top and then trying to do super shenanigans next turn? This Prism Retrieval 2 times out of 3 gets another Offering Monument, so the second floor has a second Offering Monument on it. And then we have
set up.
Soul Guard Offering, another Offering, and then
I like
we're set
that.
up. Yeah.
And I agree with the conclusion that you came to during Archis, which is we want to play out Offering Monument turn 1 if we have it, because otherwise our turn 2 could be really slow.
Yeah. And then this casts on a different floor.
I think so.
Nice.
I said that 3 times to emphasize that I thought so.
I could not think so more.
So just so you know.
Perfect. Got it. No Descent yet, but we've almost certainly got the ability to get into it this turn. The Perils of Production. This is the non-holdover one.
Yeah, what are we going to consume here?
That is difficult, isn't it, actually?
Do you ever split here and put the one Offering Monument up top and the Nameless mid? Offering Monument up top also blocks for the Nameless Siren.
My argument is leaning no, based on the idea that the more power we put in the middle line, the more we will have the ability to generate the value to bring them down.
Right. Draws us towards the cave-in faster.
Yeah.
As long as we can keep 3 spaces in the hand.
You're right. Like, we can get 2 with the Foregone Powers. Maybe we have enough draw on this floor. We don't need the 3rd there right now, and it's right, just Nameless Siren.
That was my leaning, was Nameless Siren back mid, Offering Monument, maybe top, and then start playing some spells.
Offering Monument front top?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. I like it.
Question is, are we doing Most Blessed Sword first here, actually? Oh, I kind of like that. Most Blessed mid lane, and then Perils, so that we keep this other Perils too.
Yep, I like
that.
Just taking a moment to truly digest it. Okay, there's the Furnace Tap. I mean, this is non-consumed, so we want to play it every cycle now, don't we?
Yeah.
We still don't have holdover Perils of Production yet. It's possible next turn is play nothing. It's just we can't play anything else first because they discard cards.
I know, so much discard.
Do you want to risk one of the discards first?
I kind of do. Or we could, we could split the difference and play Harness the Titan right here, and it's a great one. And then
that's really good.
Play 1 in 0 cost until we find Perils.
Okay, yeah, let's do that. There's the cave-in.
That's hype.
Do we
honestly
bring them down now and then just start going for 0 costs?
Yeah.
So we forego the Furnace Tap, but we got our full setup.
Yeah. I think so.
Hey, Perils, never mind.
Or maybe we don't forego it.
Exactly. Why choose, huh? This isn't, like, it is the Furnace Tap, right? And then just 0 costs out for the rest of the turn.
Yeah. Yeah.
2, 0. Okay, yeah. And then we need...
Power.
We need more discard than we even have access to, because we want the Awoken Railswag to be able to hit 2 cards.
So I guess we start, just playing the discard cards. Willy-nilly. Oh my.
It's a good nickname for that guy. His original name I've heard, William Nilsson. Lost to time, though, since... Same way we only know of Popeye as Popeye rather than Joseph Popovich.
You gonna play Furnace Tap again?
Oh, God.
There it is. Just keep playing it.
Yeah.
Why stop?
You're right. Why stop when you cannot instead?
That's right.
Hey, we made a Perils of Production 0 cost. Perfect.
Oh, my.
Hey, this is not a bad Highness Tartan again.
Wow.
Good turn.
Good turn. I feel A-okay about that turn.
Right. We have to play a discarder first, and then hope
Yeah.
it doesn't hit Furnace or the Perils.
Yeah.
Nice.
Boom.
5 times multi-strike on that unit, and we're at 500 damage stacked there.
Oh my gosh.
And this is, again, without an incant seal.
And look at that glass art putting in work so that we can ignore the top line.
I'm happy to get rid of that right there because the lifesteal 10, I think, stacks for the rest of the fight for us.
Yep.
Easy, get the full cast on this 4 again. Oh. I love a good full expenditure of hand.
I don't think there's much fight left, Raps.
I think actually... Ooh, hang on. Can we? Because we got the cave in right now.
We might be able to win right here.
So the enemy is going to have like 7 straight units, right?
Yep. That's going to be the problem.
Nameless breaks. I look. Okay, so I think we're at the point that clicking is not going to lose here, but it might make it more interesting. Do we want to?
That's true.
Go more interesting.
Yes, I do. I love interesting.
Interesting with it. All right. And now that frostbite.
Oh my gosh. Oh wow.
Okay,
hey, there's the 34. We said we would get at least 30 shards, and there's 34.
Yeah, no kidding. We found it.
We weren't wrong.
And now
the double came in.
Come down here.
You can't escape me. You're stuck here with me. Oh man.
Good game, Zeke.
Good game, Rhapsody. G.
G's the entire way down. Whew. I really like that we got Umbra, because as I was laying out at the start, right? Umbra, Awoken, Hellhorned are the 3 that it's Hellborn rather, sorry. Are the 3 that
Congratulations on your gilding, by the way.
Thank you. There's only 1 card left and I have no clue what it is. It's not the dog, unfortunately. What is it? What is it?
I guess we could see. We can look at your card list.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've literally just never done this, despite the fact that it's been available the entire time.
And we know that it's colorless, which I guess is that's the top left clan.
Ah.
Yeah.
It is Bone Dog. What?
Oh. Wow.
What?
You know what? Did you get Bone Dog when you were on Beta Branch at some point?
Yeah, I may have.
Yep. Okay, well, you know what? We have another goal for our ladder streak.
Yeah, no kidding. Let's get the friend, give him a permafrost, use that as a way to generate more HP so that we have the ability to make more risky plays. I like it. Actually, in Covenant 25, I don't dislike that at all.
No, I love it. Yeah, it's a really meaningful thing. Like, healing is so much more valuable at Covenant 25 because it's always guaranteed to do something for you from the start.
The thing that I was saying, though, is that the Awoken and the Hellborn were the 2 that I was best prepared to do as the combination with the Stygian there. Because Umbra can do things, but it has so many different paths it can go down that oftentimes I think I get kind of...
overwhelmed.
Not necessarily... Yes. Overwhelmed is the right word for it.
A little bit. Yeah, I feel that. Totally feel, but we did good stuff. Double Cave-In was so good. I feel like, yeah, we built a deck that was really strong and it had a lot of options. What are you gonna do with UnlockHostelsLebanon, dog?
I've been thinking the entire time, and the closest I got was like I used to manage a backpacker facility, like a backpackers hotel in Beirut.
Yeah.
I was trying to find a way in there, but especially when it puts a country in there,
it gets weird.
It gets really weird. There have been a few recently that I found some interesting way to describe it still without playing into any deleterious material that could have been related to the country and the 2 words prior. But those have all been sit on the end screen and talk to camera for a while I try and figure it out. And I'm trying to do that right now and it's not working.
We just don't have the key for this. You know, it's like,
there's something that I need to allow me to finally enter the realm where I would be able to discuss accommodation in
Yeah.
Lebanon specifically.
Specifically Lebanon. In this world, this run was Lebanon, which is, I hope doesn't come to pass that Lebanon is. We would like to think.
Has a monster train go through the town filled with demons? Here's hoping. I truly hope that doesn't happen.
I wish this not upon anyone.
Well, there's the score we've laid out. You can find it at the top of the description. Any episode of Monster Train, you can find it there, so you have the ability to play along with us, make your own decisions, make the same decisions as you would like. Maybe you'll come back and tell us that one of the cards that we chose there, if we'd chosen the other one, would have been absolutely perfect. I'd be surprised. There are a couple that I think we maybe could have changed, but I don't think they ultimately would have made a change to how the deck ended up functioning.
Yeah.
Save
infinite possibilities in Monster Train.
Ignoring the first immortal trade and then suddenly having to scramble for health support.
That's true. That would be a very different run. That's a good point.
Hugely differentiating point there. But yeah, for the moment, that's been Monster Train. My name's been Rhapsody. His name's been Teak. There's all the links you're looking for in the description down below, as well as the good old twitch.tv/sneakyteak. Hopefully you've been enjoying yourselves. And hopefully we'll see you next time.